Well, hello there. Welcome to another fun edition, 10 minutes of Southern Mama's Delight. So, my good buddy Eve Marie and I, we are celebrating and reminiscing about our mamas, and we've got a really fun topic today. All right, Eva Marie, welcome.
Hello. I had to turn up my volume a little bit. It just kind of went, I don't know.
You look good, girlfriend.
Well, you do too, but you always do.
Well, thank you. I have hair done.
I had a bunch of my hair cut off since last we met. I had it pulled back in a bun. I had about maybe that much of my hair cut off. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Just get a hankering for a different look.
Yeah. Well, I knew I wanted to get it, grow it out so that I could cut it off. Does that make sense? Yeah. So I could get the cut I wanted, but I had to let it all grow out.
Yes. All right. Now, we got to talk about jewelry today.
We're going to talk about mama's jewelry.
Yeah. Okay. You go first. Tell me some mama jewelry stories.
Well, one of the things that I always think about when I think about my mother's jewelry, I think about, first of all, her wedding rings, because they were the typical 1950s engagement ring with the center diamond and two diamonds on either side, and then the band of diamonds.
Yes.
So that very quintessential look. But then also my mother's mother died right after she married my father. So my mother had her mother's engagement ring. And so she wore her wedding set on her left hand, obviously, and then she wore her mother's engagement ring on her right hand. And then my mother was a seamstress. She loved to sew. She loved to knit. I still knit. She loved all kinds of handwork. And so over time, her hands, became arthritic. And she stopped wearing her mother's engagement ring. And then when I hit a certain age for Christmas one year, I opened up my Christmas gift, and it was a tin about this big, and it was a candle. It was a Christmas candle, but it was in the tin. And my mother was acting like she was just so excited. She was just, I can't wait. And I opened it up and I said, Christmas candle. Oh, well, I love Christmas and I love candles. And she said, well, smell it, because I think you're really going to love the scent. It's that pine. It's that Christmas pine. Mm-hmm. And so I popped open the top, and my grandmother's engagement ring was around the wick. So of course that's really special. But I have to tell you, my mother always told the story about when her mother died. Her mother always wore this gold and pearl brooch. I may have told you this before. And so they, in the casket, and my grandmother was young. She was 50 years old when she passed away. And in the casket, she was wearing the golden pearl brooch. And my mother had, she kept saying, I got to make sure I get that brooch, before they close the casket. But of course, in her grief, and my mother was only 19 years old, in her grief, she forgot about it. Mm-hmm. And so, as they are lowering the casket into the ground, she remembered it. And my mother told the story, for years on end. And she said that when the funeral director came over to her to give her his sympathies, he took her hand and put something in it. And when he took his hand away, it was her mother's brooch. So she had that brooch. And then, when she died, of course, I got the brooch. But when my mother passed away, she had these very pretty gold earrings with a pearl set in the center. And so I put those on her. Now, we really didn't have an open casket because my mother was real funny about, I don't want people looking at me, that kind of thing. But for the immediate family that might need that closure, so to speak, we let them come in and just, say their goodbyes. But then after that, we shut the casket. And I kept thinking, I need to get those earrings. And I thought, wouldn't that just be something if I forgot them? Because that's 2 generations that did that. Well, sure enough, I forgot. And when I realized, by the time I realized that it was too late, and I thought, well, you know what? They're gold earrings with pearls. I mean, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And I mean, they were beautiful, but okay. So the year before my mother died, I had gone back to Israel, and I brought her back this little, I mean, like about yay big, little stone box, intricate, beautifully carved. And I said to her, my mother typically she would wear the gold pearl earrings all the time. She didn't change out a lot.
Right.
But I said to her, my mother was very petite. And so, anything large would have just taken over her. And so I gave her that, and I said, Mother, this is perfect to set on your dresser at night. You can pop out your earrings and just drop them in there. It's just perfect. And so that's what she did. That's what she used it for. So I brought that home with me, that little box, and it was empty. And I put it on my dresser. And for 6 months, Jane, I kid you not, for 6 months, every time I would dust that dresser, which was at least once a week, because it's an antique dresser and it has to be oiled. And so, every time I would do that, I would pick up that box and move it over and that kind of thing. Well, about 6 months had gone by, and I went to pick up the box, and the top fell off, which was it was fitted on there. So I thought that was weird. And when I looked into it, there was a black velvet bag. And I said, what in the world? And I opened it up, and it was those earrings. And I have no idea. I mean, seriously, it had been 6 months. I know I did not have those earrings. I know that they were not in that box. So it's like, it's totally unexplained. I don't know.
Wow.
Just don't know. But my friend Leanne said to me, she said, oh, do you wear them? And I said, oh no.
Yeah.
No, I don't wear them. No.
Whoa, that's a story, girl.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. What about you? Any special jewelry that your mama had that?
There was a watch, and I wish I've got it upstairs. There's a little locket that my great grandfather wore in his watch chain. Yeah. And this is another one of those stories. Part of it, right? And so Mama would always say, "How's the locket?" And I'd say, "Fine." It was just a pretty locket. I wish I brought it from the jewelry box. Yeah. And all of a sudden, I lost it. I just was panicked. You know how you get. You just, yeah. You're going to ask me. I don't want to lie. So Thomas and I were in a hotel room. He was speaking somewhere, and I had my clothes hanging up in that little open closet like Holiday Inn.
Yeah, yeah. And
I got on my knees, and I said, "Dear Lord, you know how much that locket means to me." Mm-hmm. And Mama, she gave it to me when I was 16. And I don't want to lie. Can you please help me find it? And I heard plop right then. It was in the pocket of a pair of pants. And when I brought that particular pair of pants, it fell on the floor.
How about it?
Just like that. So
wow.
Maybe they're looking at, but I did bring a few things. Mama bought these pearls.
Yes.
And she's so proud, and they're so cheap. Bless her. She just didn't know. And then her go-to, the rice beads.
Oh, yes.
And they're really back in style. I was in a shop in Charleston, and it said,
you know what? I've got a video.
Rice beads.
I've got a video that tells you all the different ways, like with a long strand of pearls. Yeah. All the different ways that you can wear them.
I want to see that.
I have saved it. It was on Instagram, so I saved it. Yeah, because I have a very long strand of ivory. The ivory color. Yeah, like that. So, nice. Well, do you know where my mother's wedding ring and my grandmother's engagement ring is now?
I'm scared to ask.
It's right here around my neck. I had their ring because I had my grandmother's ring. I had her sister's ring, my grandmother's diamond ring. My grandmother's engagement ring had 10 diamonds in it. Her sister's had 8. My mother's, I don't even know how many, because, you know, you have that band, and I just never even looked. And then I had my anniversary ring, and I had them melted down and made into this heart because I couldn't wear everything. You know, you can't. I didn't have enough fingers, right?
That's beautiful. Does it have diamonds in it?
Yeah, it's all diamonds.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
So yeah, and
That's
you know,
beautiful.
it's special to me because because it's these women who meant so much to me. A grandmother I never knew, but whose name I carry.
Right.
And of course my mother and my great aunt, who became like a grandmother to me. So, you know, and when she gave me, she did not have children of her own, but my mother was as close to a daughter to her as, you know, she could have had. And so when she was dying, she gave her baby ring to my daughter, and she called my daughter Skeeter. And then she gave me her wedding set, and I was, you know, but she was so tiny, I could barely get it on my pinky.
Oh,
she was such a tiny, just like her mother. Now, my great grandmother's ring, my daughter has that. Her husband presented that to her. He had asked if he could do that, and so it's just gorgeous. I mean, it's very dainty, and it's very simple, but it has all that filigree cut into it, you know, and just a center diamond. That's it, you know. But
I love that.
It's such a lovely ring. Yeah.
Well, and if anybody watching wants to chime in and share something special to them, and it doesn't have to be of great value, because my last little thing to show you is what my mother wore every Sunday to church, and it was her little, you know, her little ID fish.
Oh,
so sweet. And this is a treasure to me,
of course,
because when we would go to church together, and you know, we have such wonderful memories of that experience of going to church and then going out to eat with all the girlfriends. So it have to be valuable, but you know what? The value is
there's you can't possibly. And I remember even saying to my jeweler, who I took these rings to, and I said, you know, can you do this? And I said, I don't even know if these are good diamonds or not. I mean, you know, because I just don't know, but I don't care. And you know, but my mother worked for the school system. And so after she died, I found all of her little things, like, you know, the fish and with the different holidays for the children, so that she could just, you know, children love that kind of stuff. So I love that.
Yeah. Hey, my dear, I love talking about these things.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, until next week, we've got a real fun one coming up. Everybody's don't want to miss this next week. What we're going to talk about.